The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Federation stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, its crystalline walls reflecting the bioluminescent forms of 1,000 species. Representatives from civilizations that had conquered stars before humanity had discovered fire now sat in stunned silence, watching the massive holographic display that dominated the chamber's center. Ambassador Zethkri of the Hegemony adjusted his ceremonial robes with 4 of his 6 arms, his compound eyes fixed on the tactical readout. The vote had been unanimous 3 cycles ago. Earth would be conquered, its primitive inhabitants either enslaved or relocated. The humans had been classified as a Class 3 species, tool users with basic spaceflight but no real threat to galactic order. That assessment was about to be revised. "Status report," commanded Chancellor Voxtar, her serpentine form coiled around the central podium. Her species had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, their wisdom unquestioned. Until now. Fleet Admiral Krexnoth materialized as a shimmering hologram, his usually pristine uniform torn and stained with something that looked disturbingly like human blood. Behind him, the bridge of his flagship was a chaos of sparks and emergency lighting. "Chancellor," Krexnoth's voice crackled through damaged comm systems. "The 7th, 12th, and 15th fleets have been neutralized." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Those 3 fleets represented over 10,000 vessels, enough firepower to reduce a planet to asteroids. "Impossible," hissed Ambassador Silthan of the Void Dancers. "Our intelligence indicated they possessed perhaps 50 primitive chemical rockets. How could they?" "They lied," Krexnoth interrupted, his image flickering. "By the Void, they lied to us all. When our scouts observed their world, they showed us what they wanted us to see. Museums, historical displays, obsolete technology. While we were watching their rockets that could barely reach their own moon, they were building something else entirely." The holographic display shifted, showing grainy footage from a destroyed Federation dreadnought. Dark shapes moved through space like predatory fish, too fast for the camera to track properly. They weren't ships in any conventional sense. No obvious engines, no energy signatures that registered on galactic standard sensors. Just sleek angular forms of what looked like black metal that seemed to bend light around their edges. "What are those?" whispered Counselor Yith of the Crystal Mines, her translucent form pulsing with nervous energy. "We don't know," Krexnoth admitted. "They appeared without warning when our fleets reached the outer system. No energy weapons, no plasma cannons, no particle beams, just impact. Pure kinetic force delivered with surgical precision. They punched through our shields like they weren't there, tore through our hulls like paper." The footage showed a Federation battlecruiser, 2 kilometers of advanced alloy and shield generators, simply folding in half as one of the black shapes struck it amidships. The impact was silent in the vacuum of space, but somehow more terrifying for its quietness. "Sir," came a voice from off-screen, "we're receiving a transmission. Put it through." The hologram shifted again. A human face appeared, unremarkable by galactic standards, with the typical bilateral symmetry and limited sensory organs of their species. But there was something in the eyes that made even the battle-hardened representatives of warrior races shift uncomfortably in their seats. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force," the human said, her voice carrying clearly across the chamber. "Your fleets entered our system with hostile intent. They have been disabled or destroyed as appropriate." Chancellor Voxtar's hood flared in indignation. "You dare—" "I'm not finished." The human's voice didn't rise but somehow carried absolute authority. "Your intelligence operation was impressive. 3 centuries of observation, careful cataloging of our technological development, assessment of our military capabilities. You saw our museums, our historical sites, our space program. You assumed that represented the sum total of human achievement." The human smiled, but it wasn't a pleasant expression. "You were wrong. What you observed was our past, not our present. While your scouts were watching our rockets struggle to reach orbit, we were developing something else entirely. We call them Raven-class interceptors, manufactured in orbital facilities that exist in folded spacetime, invisible to your sensors." The chamber erupted in disbelief. Folded spacetime manufacturing was theoretical, even for the most advanced Federation species. "The physics are simple enough," Admiral Chen continued conversationally. "Take matter at the quantum level. Convince it that distance is merely a suggestion and accelerate it to a significant fraction of light speed. The universe does the rest. No energy weapons needed when you can deliver a few kilograms of iron at 0.7 C. Ambassador Zethkree's compound eyes fixed on the tactical display. The readings made sense now. Those weren't ships, they were projectiles. Guided meteors launched from hidden positions throughout the solar system. Your fleets represented approximately 4 billion sentient beings, Admiral Chen noted. We disabled what we could, destroyed what we had to. Approximately 60% of your personnel are in escape pods and will be returned to Federation space, with medical care and supplies. The remainder chose to fight to the end. We honored that choice. Chancellor Voxtar found her voice. You cannot possibly expect to stand against the entire Federation. We have 10,000 member species, fleets beyond counting. Do you? Chen interrupted. Because from where I sit, it looks like you just lost 3 full fleets to a species you classified as primitive. How many more fleets are you willing to sacrifice to conquer one small world? She leaned forward and her voice dropped to barely above a whisper that somehow carried perfectly through the chamber. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to revise our classification. You're going to mark Sol system as restricted space. You're going to go home and tell your people that humanity prefers isolation, but will defend itself if necessary, and in return we won't come looking for the rest of your manufacturing facilities. The connection terminated. In the silence that followed, Ambassador Zethkree noticed something that chilled his ecor. The human had said the rest of your manufacturing facilities. Not your manufacturing facilities. The rest of them. Somehow, impossibly, a species that had barely reached its own moon had found and targeted the Federation's most classified military installations across dozens of star systems. The attack on the fleets hadn't been their opening move, it had been their warning shot. Chancellor Voxtar's voice was barely a whisper when she spoke. Motion to reclassify humanity as Class 1 species with restricted contact protocols. The vote was unanimous. 3 cycles later, long-range sensors detected construction beginning around Sol. Whatever the humans were building, it was massive. The Federation chose not to investigate. Some questions they had learned were better left unanswered.